Chapter 1. The mysterious will rain was falling heavily on the eaves. Thunder rumbled in the dark sky. Eleanor Hart, the only woman in the Arundell family, had passed away unexpectedly. The village of Moorhaven, where the Arundells had lived for generations, was not too surprised by her death. For Eleanor was in her 80s, and her health had long since declined. However, her death opened a chain of strange events that no one expected. On the day of the will reading, all of her closest relatives were present at Arundell House, an old house, surrounded by dense woods and near a winding river. The family's old lawyer, Mr. Bennet, was the only person who knew the contents of the will. He had invited the family members there to read the will without warning. When Mr. Bennet opened his mouth, no one could have expected Eleanor's will to be so unexpected. Instead of leaving the bulk of her estate to her family members, Eleanor decided to leave the bulk of her fortune to an unnamed charity. What shocked everyone even more was that she left the entire mansion to three people: Alice, her niece, Dr. Nathaniel Gray, a young doctor with whom she had a close relationship, and Jacob, a distant cousin who had not visited the family for a long time. Alice sat silently, listening to Mr. Bennet's every word, in disbelief. Eleanor had always been a tough person, but in recent years she had become increasingly strange. The changes in her life and the secrets she had always kept were now beginning to come to light. "What have you done?" Alice wondered, feeling as though there was a greater secret hidden in every word of the will. Everyone was silent, no one daring to speak. Yet, unease spread throughout the room. Chapter 2. Secret Message. After the will was announced, an eerie atmosphere hung over the mansion. Alice couldn't calm down when thinking about what had happened. A week later, when Alice returned to the mansion to collect her grandmother's belongings, she discovered a small box hidden behind her grandmother's favorite painting. The box contained a handwritten letter, Eleanor's handwriting still neat. Alice opened it and read, "If you're reading this letter, it means I couldn't protect myself. What you're about to learn will change everything. Keep your family a secret. Alice, my enemy hasn't been defeated yet. All you need to do is find the Eternal Hourglass before it's too late." Alice felt as if the air in the room had frozen. She stood still, as if an invisible ghost was watching her. Eternal Hourglass, she wondered, unable to comprehend the meaning of the words. Meanwhile, the eyes of Dr. Nathaniel Gray, the young doctor whom Eleanor trusted, did not leave her. He had always been by her side in her final months, but his attitude now made Alice feel uncomfortable. Something was wrong. Dr. Gray was the only person left close to Eleanor in her final years, and he seemed to know more than he had revealed. Chapter 3. The secret gradually revealed after reading the letter. Alice decides to start investigating the Eternal Hourglass. She is convinced that it holds the key to understanding the secrets that Eleanor has kept hidden for so many years. A quick investigation reveals that the clock is no ordinary item, but an ancient legacy that has been in the Arundell family for generations. Alice decides to search for clues in the family library, where Eleanor spent hours reading and taking notes. Among the old books, she discovers a photograph of Eleanor and a group of people. including a strange man who seems to be an important part of the Arundell family's past. Something is definitely going on, Alice thought, noticing that the photographs and books Eleanor kept were all connected to a secret organization the Arundell family seemed to have been involved in years ago. Chapter 4. The Search Begins. Alice begins to investigate her family's ties to the organization further. She finds a strange key hidden in an old drawer in Eleanor's office. It is unlike any key she has ever seen, and it bears a strange symbol engraved on its face, a circle with diagonal lines that resemble the image of a clock. As soon as Alice held the key, she felt a cold air invade her body. It seemed that this key was an important part of Eleanor's life and could help her open the door to the secrets she had hidden. Chapter 5. Finding the one behind it. As Alice continues her investigation, she discovers that Dr. Nathaniel Gray is not only Eleanor's doctor, but also someone deeply connected to this secret organization. In fact, he is part of the Arundell family, a branch of the family that Eleanor has long since cut off contact with. This makes Alice increasingly suspicious of Dr. Teague Gray's true intentions. All clues lead Alice to a secret location outside the village of Moorhaven, where the Arundell family's priceless treasures are said to be hidden. But as she prepares to go there, a phone call from her distant cousin Jacob stops her. Jacob reappears, not to share family affection, but to seek to seize the estate that Eleanor left him. Jacob's relationship with the Arundell family has always been tense, and this time he seems determined to achieve his goal. Chapter 6. The Confrontation Section 1. The Buried Truth. The next morning, Alice decided not to wait any longer. She knew that to find the truth, she would have to face all the secrets that Eleanor had kept hidden for so many years, although she could not be sure of everything. The key she found was clearly the first step to leading her to the place where the forgotten stories of the Arundell family were kept. Her heart pounded as she approached the room that Eleanor had kept hidden for so many years. It was a part of the old mansion that no one but Eleanor had access to. Alice felt as if she were entering a dangerous area, a place that contained secrets she didn't know if she was ready to face. The room was dark, only partially illuminated by Alice's weak oil lamp. She placed the key in the ancient lock, feeling the tension in the air. Immediately, the old door creaked open. She stepped in, and immediately, a strange feeling filled her body. This room was unlike any other in the mansion. It contained many old documents, photos, and memories that Eleanor had kept hidden. Section 2. Dark Pictures. On Eleanor's desk, a thick file was open, and inside it were photos of a group of strangers. Although the photos might be faded, every detail of the faces in the photos was sharp. And one of those people was Dr. Nathaniel Gray, Eleanor's doctor, who was now becoming a mystery to Alice. Her heart sinks as she realizes that Dr. Gray is not just a doctor, but part of a secret organization, one that the Arundell family has long been involved in. From photographs and notes, Alice learns that her family not only owns an old house and property, but also possesses vast secrets related to history and strange events. They are part of a powerful network that controls and monitors important events in society. One photograph in particular caught Alice's attention. It showed Eleanor standing among men and women at a mysterious ceremony in a deserted temple. The dim lighting and strange objects in the photograph sent shivers down Alice's spine. There was a hidden truth in this family, a truth that Eleanor had tried to hide all her life. Section 3. Unwanted confrontation. Before Alice could leave the room, she heard familiar footsteps in the hallway. A tall figure appeared at the door. Jacob, her distant relative, entered with an unfriendly expression. His long black hair and dark suit reflected tension and determination. "You must not be surprised to see me here," Jacob said, his eyes shining brightly at Alice. "You must have known all about what Eleanor has been hiding, right?" Alice felt a wave of fear wash over her. Jacob had always been aloof, but now he seemed more serious than ever. Alice tried to keep her composure. "You have no right to be here," she said confidently, but her voice was a little shaky. "What is Eleanor's belongs to me. As for you, she cut you off long ago." Jacob chuckled. "She cut me off for reasons you'll soon understand. I know what she did, and now you'll have to face the truth." Alice blinked, a surge of fear rising in her. Jacob wasn't joking. They weren't just fighting over wealth or family legacy. This was a fight for power, for control of the secrets Eleanor had kept hidden all her life. He wanted more than wealth. He wanted control of the legacy Eleanor had built. That made things more dangerous than ever. Section 4. Finding the real enemy. The confrontations become more intense, and as Alice begins to sense that Dr. Gray is not the only one with ulterior motives. When she returns to the mansion and confronts the old documents, she realizes that the truth that Eleanor tried to hide is the source of everything that happened. The Arundell family was once part of a powerful group, possibly a mystical organization that has lasted for centuries. Alice, though very nervous and feeling surrounded, still resolutely moves forward. She decides to face Dr. Gray and Jacob once again, not only for her family, but to solve all the secrets and lies behind the Arundell family. Section 5. The Final Truth. Late in the evening, Alice and Dr. Gray faced each other in the mansion's large living room. The fire in the fireplace burned brightly, the faint light illuminating both of their faces, highlighting the tension in the air. "What do you want, anyway?" Alice asked, her sharp eyes looking straight at Dr. Gray. Dr. Gray sighed, but showed no fear. "You understand everything, don't you? What Eleanor did, what we did. It was all for a greater purpose. You are just the heir to a much larger legacy. Alice, don't let greed rule you." Alice looked into Dr. Gray's eyes, and she realized that he was not someone who simply wanted to gain wealth. He was part of something bigger. And now, she was the only one who could break the cycle. Chapter 7. The Truth. Revealed. Section 1. Facing the danger. Alice stood there, in the dark drawing room of Arundell House, facing Dr. Nathaniel Gray, the man she had trusted, the man who had been by Eleanor's side during her final months. The light from the fire in the hearth danced on the walls, casting dark shadows over the room. But at this moment, all the darkness was directed at Alice. "You still don't understand," Dr. Gray said, his voice soft but firm. "You are not only the heir to the Arundell fortune, Alice. You also hold the power to alter the course of time." Alice looked at him, her eyes sharp. "What are you saying?" "You've always been the one taking care of Eleanor. But now I realize it wasn't as I thought. You're part of this family secret, aren't you? Dr. Gray did not reply immediately. Instead, he approached her, his eyes full of depth. The Arundells are no ordinary family. We have joined an ancient organization, one that holds power beyond human understanding. And Eleanor, as you know, has played a major role in it. Alice felt a chill run down her spine. What organization? What organization are you talking about? Dr. Gray chuckled, but there was no joy in it. The organization you call secret is a group that controls time, life, and death. We not only control the past, but we can also interfere with the future. That is why Eleanor, upon discovering the power of the hourglass of eternity, became an indispensable link in this organization. Alice blinked, her mind reeling. She remembered what she had found in Eleanor's study, the photos, the documents, the cryptic notes. It was no longer just a memory. It was all coming together. But why? Why did Eleanor cut off her family? Why did she hide everything? Dr. Gray sighed, a thoughtful look in his eyes. She discovered the truth too late. Once you join this organization, you cannot back out. Eleanor realized that the power of the hourglass is more than just a time-controlling tool. It is a door that opens to entities that humans cannot understand. Things that existed before this world and will exist long after everything is gone. Section 2. Complicated relationships. Alice took a step back, feeling like she was in a maze where each answer seemed to lead to another question. So what is your goal? Dr. Gray, do you want to control everything? Time. Everyone's lives. Dr. Gray looked at her calmly, as if what he said was normal. I don't want to control everything. I just want to understand it, to discover the power that the hourglass of eternity can bring. But to do that, I need your help. Alice, you are the last heir to the Arundell family. We need you to open this door. Alice felt a wave of anger rise up inside her. You're using me. I won't let you control my life. I'm not a tool. Not someone to help you carry out your twisted plans. We are all tools of a greater power. Dr. Gray replied, his eyes cold. You are the one who does not yet realize the power you hold. But if you refuse, not only you, but the entire Arundell family will pay the price. Alice felt her blood run cold. She realized that Dr. T. Gray was not just a personal enemy, but part of a long-term conspiracy, a game she had unwittingly been drawn into. But she could not give up, no matter the danger. Section 3. The Secrets of the Hourglass. To better understand what Dr. Gray was talking about, Alice decided to return to Eleanor's archive room. Although she felt scared, she knew that the answer could only be found there. She decided to go to the desk that Eleanor often used where the documents related to the hourglass of eternity were. When Alice opened an old drawer, she found a tattered, leather-bound book. It had a strange mark on the cover, the same mark she had seen on the key in Eleanor's room. In the book, there were descriptions of strange rituals that the Arundell family had engaged in, along with ancient characters that were not human language. A final passage that made Alice shudder. The Eternal Hourglass is not just a tool for controlling time. It is a door to a world of invisible entities. Ancient creatures, Who will rule when humans no longer have the power to stop them? Alice let out a breath, feeling the weight of what she was holding. She couldn't let Dr. Gray or anyone else use this power. She had to stop it before it was too late. Section 4. The decisive confrontation. Alice left the study and immediately called Jacob, asking him to come to the mansion immediately. This time, she didn't just want to talk to him about the property or legacy, but about the secrets behind their family. She knew that only he could understand what Eleanor had gone through. Jacob came quickly, his expression tense. What did you find out? Alice didn't hesitate. We have to do something about that hourglass. It's not just a family heirloom. It's a tool that can change the world. I can't let anyone take advantage of it. Jacob looked at her, his eyes taking on a seriousness she had never seen before. I understand, but you need to be careful. Alice, if we confront Dr. Gray and the forces behind him, things could get worse. Alice nodded, her eyes determined. We have no other choice. Chapter 8. The Race Against Time. Section 1. The Confrontation at Arundell House. Alice stands in the drawing room of Arundell Manor, where it all began. The strange feeling returns, as if the house has a soul of its own, full of secrets and intrigues that it has always kept hidden. Despite her decision to confront Dr. Gray and stop his access to the power of the hourglass, Alice knows that every decision she makes next is life or death. If she does not act quickly, not only the Arundell family, but her own future will be changed forever. Jacob stood beside her, his face worried. Are you sure? Alice, we're going to have to deal with Dr. Gray and everything he protects. He's not an easy man to deal with. Alice looked Jacob straight in the eye. I have no choice. If we don't stop now, nothing will be saved. The two stood in silence, listening to the wind whistling through the cracks in the door. At this moment, footsteps sounded from the hallway, and a familiar figure appeared in the dim light of the oil lamp. Dr. Nathaniel Gray walked in, his face cold and his eyes sharp as knives. You don't think you can stop, Doctor, Gray said in a calm but menacing voice. You have discovered the Arundell family secrets, Alice. But now, those secrets belong to me. Alice felt her heart tighten. Dr. Gray, I won't let you use us anymore. What you want to do is dangerous. You can't change history. The hourglass of eternity is not a tool for control, but a gateway to destruction. Dr. Gray gave a cold, emotionless smile. I don't intend to change history. I only wish to understand it. And now, you will help me do it. Section 2. Battle of Minds and Time. Alice and Jacob did not back down. They knew that Dr. Gray had some power in his hands, but they also realized that they could not let him control everything. They had both prepared for this confrontation for a long time, and although they were uncertain of all the next steps, they still had no choice but to face the danger. You can't control time, Alice said firmly. Time is something no one can control. If you continue to use the hourglass's power, everything will collapse. Dr. Gray took a step toward her, but kept his distance. You don't understand. Alice, You don't know that you've inherited that power. You can't run away anymore. There's only one way for you to survive. Submit to the power of the hourglass. Suddenly, in the silence, a strange noise rang out. A secret door in the living room opened, and a figure stepped out. It was Bobby, Eleanor's dog, whom Alice thought was missing. Alice stood still, not knowing what was happening, when Bobby, as if on some mission, ran towards her and placed a piece of paper in her hand. It was an old letter, probably from Eleanor. Alice quickly read through the words. If you receive this letter, it means the time has come. The eternal hourglass is not for control. It is for protection. You are the only one who can stop it. Do not let it fall into the hands of others. The dizziness hit her again. She realized that Eleanor had known this all along. It was all an experiment, and now she would be the one to end it. Section 3. The Truth About Hourglasses. Alice realized that she had not fully realized the power of the hourglass until now. What Eleanor left her was more than just a family legacy or old memories. The eternal hourglass was a tool to maintain the balance of time and space. If it fell into the wrong hands, not only the Arundell family, but the entire world would pay the price. Dr. Gray now is more than just a personal enemy. He is someone who wants to turn the hourglass into a tool to change the world. Not to serve life, but to erase the existence of all that he cannot control. But Alice knows this power cannot be abused. She can use it, but must be wary of those around her. She had no time to hesitate. She had to act now. Section 4. The Decisive Battle. As Dr. Gray steps closer, Alice and Jacob quickly form a plan of action. Alice knows that she can't defeat him by just playing mind games. There is only one way to destroy Gray's plan. Use the hourglass to stop the flow of time, creating a void, a place where no one can control it. Alice walked over to the table where the hourglass lay, her hands shaking, but her determination firm. As she began the ritual, Dr. Gray stopped laughing. He rushed forward, but it was too late. You can't do that, Doctor," Gray screamed. But Alice did not stop. She had seen it all. And in the end, she understood that this power was not to worship or control, but to protect what was most precious. With one final touch, she felt the power from the hourglass shift into a new dimension, and the door of time was locked. Chapter 9. The End of Time. Section 1. The Revolving Storm. Alice's surroundings became blurry. Space seemed to be flowing towards an infinite point. She felt a profound change within herself, as if she had created a hole in the very flow of time. The hourglass of eternity was no longer just a tool, it had become a part of her soul, where everything was decided. Dr. Gray's growls echoed in the dark room, like echoes from the outside world. "You can't do this," he roared, his eyes filled with rage. "You can't erase everything. It's the balance of time. If you destroy it, all will be chaos." Alice looked into his eyes, fearless. She knew that, no matter the cost, She could not let someone like Dr. Gray continue to use the power of the hourglass. It was not something to be possessed or controlled. It was a tool to protect, to maintain the stability of the universe. You can try your best, but I will not let you control this world any longer, Alice said, her voice firm and determined. Everything must have an end. Time cannot be just a tool for those who seek power. Section 2. Liberation. As Alice reached out to touch the hourglass one last time, a powerful feeling washed over her. She felt the flow of time like waves, but instead of being swept away by them, she decided to take control. She focused her mind once more, sensing all the energies around her, and redirected the hourglass's power into another dimension, reversing the influence of the past and the future, creating a pause in the power of time. The whole room shook. Cracks began to appear in the walls, and the air became thick, as if the space around them was being fractured. Alice's eyes flashed as images of the past, the future, and fragments of the Arundell family's memories flashed through her mind. All she saw was a connection, a chain of events in history that she couldn't change. But there was one thing she could do: defend her choices. She'd come this far, faced everything, and now it was time to stop the endless cycle of the past. Section 3. Final statement. Alice turned back to face Dr. Gray, who was now standing still, his eyes filled with frustration and anger. "You can't stop it," he said hoarsely. But in his eyes, Alice recognized the weariness of someone who had been controlled by an irresistible force for too long. "I stopped it," Alice replied, her voice firm. "You will no longer control time, and I will not let it continue to ruin anyone else's life." Dr. Gray said nothing more. He turned and walked out the door, leaving Alice alone in the empty room. But before he left, he paused, looking back at Alice one last time. "You can't stop this cycle, Alice. It will come back, and when it does, you'll understand." Alice stood still, her breathing even. She knew he was right about one thing: the circle of time would always come back. But this time, it wouldn't be a burden. It was part of the choice she had made, and she wouldn't go back. Section 4. New Beginnings. After her confrontation with Dr. Gray, Alice stands alone in the room where all the Arundell family secrets have been solved. This mansion is no longer a place to contain dark truths, but a place where she can start over. She returned to Eleanor's room, where the photos and documents were still intact. Looking at them, she knew that it was time to end the chain of events and begin to build a new future. A future not governed by outside forces, but by her own choices. Alice decided to leave the family fortune to a charity, one that Eleanor had supported so passionately in her later years. She left no large portion of the fortune to herself, because she understood that the Arundells did not need more wealth. What they needed was a future free from the secrets and powers that had controlled them for so many years. In that moment, Alice felt a sense of liberation. Eleanor's inheritance was no longer a burden, but an opportunity for her to start over. She was no longer the heiress to a family full of secrets and power. She was Alice, a free woman, unfettered by the past. Final chapter. Time returns. A few years later, Alice no longer lives at Arundell House. She has sold the house and used the money to set up a nonprofit organization to protect and preserve historical heritage. Just as Eleanor had done, she continues to study cultural heritage and time, but this time, not to control it, but to better understand the complex relationships between people and time. The story of the Hourglass of Eternity, the Arundel family, and the confrontation with Dr. Gray will forever be part of Alice's memory. But she understands that, at last, she has mastered time, not to control it, but to live by her own choices.